If you keep starting new things and nothing seems to be growing, this conversation is for you. Sometimes you've got good ideas, you have plans, but things don't seem to be moving forward. You start one thing, then another, thinking that the next idea will be your breakthrough. Sometimes you don't have an idea problem. Sometimes it's just an execution problem. We all have goals. We all have desires. We've got things that we want to achieve in life. And a lot of us are honestly hardworking. A lot of us are putting in the work, and sometimes we are not seeing the results that we desire. And then we start something, we do it a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then we get tired. Then we do the next thing. And I'm just here to say, execution matters. We are all taught that ideas are important, ideas are money makers, and yes, ideas are money makers. But you know what a lot of people lack is execution. So if you can master execution, you will outrank a lot of people out there. And what makes execution hard is because it's messy, it's real life. When you're chilling there in your house, thinking up the idea, your mind thinks of the positive. And when you're in the details, when you're executing, it's difficult. You have to face the challenge of things are not how and what you thought there would be. So when you take an idea and when you start executing, there are hard things that come about, and that's what you need to navigate to outrank everybody else who's got ideas and is not executing. And ideas are easy and they're cool. So when you're actually doing things, there are challenges that you encounter and you get feedback, you get real life feedback. Some things seem easy and romantic, but when you're doing it, it's actually difficult. You have to encounter customers who don't really understand your offer or your service. You need to navigate price with customers. Are they willing to pay? You also just need to see if the process holds or if things are working out like you thought they would. And the thing about execution as well is that you also need to navigate disappointment, hitting blockers. Because as I've said, things don't work out as how you thought they would be. So the first thing we need to change or focus on as entrepreneurs and business people is to understand that business, life, the market, it awards execution more than it awards ideas. Even myself, I remember I was still in university. I saw a gap in the market. I saw that we did not have a fueling station. And I did my research. I went to speak to people with fuel stations to be like, hey guys, how can I get into fuel? Because I could see that we only had one garage. And guess what? I did some research, got discouraged. I didn't take action. Like over 10 years, because we've got a total garage now. Somebody built the total garage. Did I have the idea? Yes, I did. So guess what? I'm trying to land the point that life awards execution. So whatever you have in your life, if you don't take the steps to do it, life will just keep moving and you won't get rewarded and you will get discouraged and it will start seeming like nothing you try works. And why? It's because you haven't stuck it out with the execution. Business, life awards execution. Actually doing the work is worth more than changing ideas. The second thing I'd like to share is consistency. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Life moves with consistency, and consistency is more important when things get hard. Consistency is not glamorous. So hence you see people with businesses, when they launches are beautiful, launches are powerful. But as things go on, people get discouraged. The thing you just need to keep at, whether it's business, whether it's life, is to remind yourself that consistency is the key to getting to your goal. Consistency looks like putting out the marketing. When you put out the marketing, engaging your customers. It looks like answering inquiries on time. It looks like following up again and again. And sometimes customers may seem disinterested, and sometimes it may feel disappointing and hard, and rejection is quite painful emotionally. But consistency looks like following up. It means also reviewing the numbers, looking at your bank accounts, looking at your accounting system and seeing what's actually working. What are we selling? How do we improve our offer? Talking to customers and just being consistent with the process. Then another thing that I'd like to share is that when we plan for our goals, we need to plan for the difficult days. We only plan for the ideal scenario. I'm in software, I build systems, and when we do our testing as well, we have happy day scenarios. Those are the things that we are expecting customers to do. So if it's a banking app, happy day scenario would be customer picks the pay option, they put in the amount correctly, they put in their beneficiary details correctly, they press pay, and everything flows happily through the system. But then again, there's unhappy and unfavorable scenario testing. This is where we need to test absurd things. What happens if the customer puts in the wrong account number? So this is the thing we also just need to apply in our lives as well, to say, what are the unhappy day scenarios that we are planning for? Do we plan for our hard days? So even for you in your business, when you plan, don't just plan from where you are motivated. Look at your real life to be like, how does your real life look like? The first thing that we need to do is to set clear goals. Sometimes we've got ideas, we've got things we want to do, but the goal is not clear enough. So I encourage you to be clear on your goal, to be like, what's your target? Are you clear on your goal? If your goal isn't clear, you'll be distracted. And sometimes we've got this self-deception that, yeah, I'm still on my goal, but I'm just gonna do it a different way. And that takes us slowly away from what we aim to achieve. The second thing that we can do is keep the plan simple. The more simple the plan is, the higher your chances of doing it. So sometimes when we're motivated, we can have an elaborate plan. So when you don't do what you say you will do, your subconscious mind records it. And your subconscious mind starts not trusting you. And the worst thing that can happen is when you don't trust you. So keep the plan simple. Keep the plan executable. What channel are you going to use, and how will you keep yourself accountable to those simple steps? And as I chat around accountability, let's chat around tracking. Tracking and measuring your progress is important. So track how you're doing. And an example, when I started the social media and branding journey, I had a goal of being on social media. I schedule my posts, I write them, put them out there. And for me, the goal and the tracking was simple: 3 posts a week. So looking at my scheduler calendar, I'm like, yo, I'm behind or I'm ahead. So that's just a way of tracking, to be like, this is the personal tracking I've done for myself. So in your space, in your business, in your personal life, how are you tracking what you want to achieve? And if you're not tracking yourself, you may create the illusion of progress. The illusion of progress is when you're busy. You feel like you're doing a lot, but there's no results because the results are not being tracked. Then another thing I've been learning for myself, especially for us ambitious entrepreneurs, is that execution fails when we try to too many things at once. It splits our energy between too many things and we end up not seeing the progress of it. And as I share the power of focus, I like to share the concept of context switching. A lot of us think we're good at multitasking, but when we multitask, there's a mental penalty or a mental fee that we pay, and that is called context switching. So if you could be focused on one thing, especially like deep work, where it's thinking work, you sit there for like an hour undisturbed, WhatsApp facing down, notifications off, thinking around it, doing it, finishing it, and then moving on to the next thing. You save yourself from paying the context switching penalties of jumping from one task to another. And you know, when you're on that tab and you're thinking to yourself, that's context switching. Doing too many things weakens your execution. And then a question I can hear you asking is, but I'm doing this thing, I'm consistent, I've doubled down on my goal, I've got the accountability, but things don't seem to be going the way I want them to go. And at this point, we need to have a mature conversation around looking at feedback. Do I persist, keep going? Because like winners never quit and quitters never win. Or do I use the feedback and say, hey, maybe this is not the right thing for me? Do I change strategies? Do I just leave this thing? And that, for me, friends, is a matter of wisdom. And the thing around execution is, when you start out with an idea in the ideal world of your mind. So you're thinking around this idea, but when it's in real life, you've got real customers. Sometimes you think customers want things this way, and customers will tell you a different thing. I remember, just an example, when we launched Venue app, we're like, we are cashless, everything runs on the app and customers must pay on the app. And when we launched, we're in the market, we're with customers, and we realized that as a new brand, we need to build trust with customers. And customers were like, some customers were happy to put in their card details, some customers are like, nifuna ikhadi lami. And what did we have to do? We had to look at the situation and actually pivot and bring in solutions that would suit our customers. It wasn't our ideal when we were in the boardroom or when we were in the office, when we were creating and coding this product. We thought life would work one way, but when we're in the market with the clients, they give us feedback. So even with you, as you execute, as you do your goals, you will have feedback from customers. You need to decide what parts of the feedback make sense for you to listen to, and customers will give you good stuff where they're the ones you're asking their money from. What have you executed consistently enough to get feedback? What is the market telling you with that feedback? And if there's a problem with that idea, is it the market's telling you something, or is the problem with your execution? We gotta be honest with ourselves, and the best gift you can give yourself is extreme ownership. Owning the outcomes, owning your actions, so that you can grow and be better. And as we end tonight, we're just saying that ideas are easy. Ideas give you motivation. Ideas give you energy. But it is in execution where everything becomes real and you actually get to achieving your goals. So with that, fam, thank you very much for joining. And the question is, for me, as you execute, how will you become consistent? So looking forward to having you and join me next week, as well as we discuss business leadership and entrepreneurship. So thank you very much for joining, and see you next week. Peace.